I made a lot of mistakes when I first started delivering for Amazon Flex, but as of tonight, I just finished my 250th shift. So here are 15 things that I wish I could go back and tell myself on my very first shift. Some are pretty short, some are more thorough. The first one is very simple, and that is don't overthink your job. I was kind of surprised how simplistic it is, but all you have to do, your only objective, is to take pictures of people's packages on their doorstep. You don't have to do anything else. You're a very small cog in a very large machine, and in my opinion, it's best for your own sake and your own efficiency to just not consider anything else. Anything that happens after delivery or before delivery is not your problem. Just focus on your objective, which is get the package to the door and take a picture. This rolls into my second thing, which is to not be a perfectionist. Don't go above and beyond and maximize efficiency. It's all about efficiency to me. Personally, I try not to spend more than like 20 seconds at any stop, which sounds really short, but once you start doing it, you realize 20 seconds is actually a decently long time to spend at a stop. Generally speaking, I'm like in and out of each one. Once I'm out of my vehicle, within like 10 to 15 seconds, and that is me hopping out, dropping the package, picture, back in the car, go. What I was doing early on is sometimes spending literally 5 to 10 plus minutes trying to deliver a single package. And that was because either I couldn't find the right location, I couldn't get to the front door, there was some sort of, whether it's a roadblock in the neighborhood, like if there's construction, or if there's a dog blocking my way and I'm not comfortable like going face to face with the dog, I would end up sitting on the phone with the customer or trying to call them or waiting for them to respond to a text, because you can contact the customer through the app, or sitting on call with driver support trying to figure out what to do. My thing nowadays is to not do that. If it's more than 30 seconds, I'm doing something to leave. And that is generally lowering the quality of my delivery. An example of this is people, generally speaking, expect the package to be at their front door. Like they open the door and they can reach the package. If I'm your driver, doesn't always happen. I'll be honest, it's multiple times per week, if not day, if not shift, that packages don't make it to the front door. A very common example of this is there is a gate of some sort, a locked gate. I don't go through the effort of getting through the gate. I'm not comfortable opening people's gates. I pretty much always just leave it at or over the gate. Another example is apartment buildings. Now, a lot of apartment buildings just have doors on the exterior, but there's a lot where you have to actually get into a lobby or a leasing office or some other form of locked building. I used to spend way too much time at these apartment buildings trying to get in or contact the customer or talk to driver support being like, I can't get in, I don't know what to do. Now I just drop the package wherever. I mean, I try to get it to the right building, but honestly, generally speaking, with all these 3 a.m. apartment buildings, I'm dropping them at the leasing office, just over and over. I've probably dropped at least 1,000 packages just at leasing offices. Customers don't like this, but nothing has really happened to my account. Like, it saves me a lot of time. It's not even just me being lazy, which I am, but it's also understanding what Amazon expects, and that is that they care about quantity over quality. So if I spend this time trying to deliver the package exactly as the customer expects, I sometimes fall behind schedule and have late deliveries. It's not good to have late deliveries. I would rather take the risk of a customer getting upset and just dropping it wherever. Another thing on the perfectionism is you're gonna get blamed for things out of your control kind of inevitably. Now, it is important to pay attention to your standing. And this is a spectrum, it's like a sliding scale of how good Amazon thinks you are at delivering. It goes from at risk to fair to good to fantastic. So right now I'm in fantastic because I'm just such an epic driver. I've been as low as the lowest part of fair, so I was almost at risk a couple times, which I'll mention why. Even if you're a perfect driver, sometimes things happen out of your control. For example, a package being stolen, or a package being reported as stolen, but it wasn't actually stolen. It's just a customer reporting it as stolen, but it wasn't. Because guess what? Amazon takes the side of the customer. Even if you have proof of delivery, even if you have an image where you show it was at the front door, Amazon blames you for it. That being that you should have done a better job hiding the package. This to me is not fair because the most common example for me is I'm delivering to apartment buildings within the city, within downtown, where the door to get into the building is on a main road and a sidewalk, and I can't get in, and so I end up leaving the package basically on a public sidewalk, guess what? People steal them. They walk by and they steal the package. But you might be wondering, why don't I just return the package? Well, that brings me into my third point. Do everything in your power to not return packages to the station. Not only is it annoying because you have to go back to the station, if you just deliver all your packages, you can just go home. So for example, sometimes I finish literally an hour and a half to 2 hours away from the warehouse because Amazon sends me so far west or east, like from the warehouse. However, even not being whiny, and even if I want to go back to the warehouse for some reason, honestly, it doesn't seem like there's anything worse you can do than mark a package as undeliverable. So from my experience, Amazon kind of ranks different mistakes a driver can make from least bad to most bad. And it seems like the most bad thing you can do, aside from just like flat out stealing, is returning a package to the station. In fact, they don't want you to so badly that the driver support people that you talk to all the time, because you'll probably end up calling them a lot, I am convinced that their number one priority is do not let drivers return packages to the station. Now, generally speaking, you cannot just mark a package as undelivered. You have to actually call driver support and be like, hey, can't deliver it. And 80% of the time they will fight me on it and say, I think you can deliver it. The first thing they say is, well, previous people have delivered to this address, why can't you? And there's various reasons. It's either it's locked and I can't leave it anywhere safe, I can't hide the package anywhere, or sometimes there's full-on roadblocks and the road is closed. There's a variety of reasons. I just started laughing because I was thinking of people like to send me that TikTok of the Amazon driver like walking through an active crime scene. By the way, that's RPD, that's my police, that's my city. Shout out to Raleigh. This guy understands. This guy gets that the most important thing when delivering for Amazon is not returning that package to the station. You gotta be like this guy. Some other examples of things that negatively impact your standing is, okay, a small one, honestly the tiniest hit, it seems, is if a package is missing from your block. So you can mark packages as missing if they're not there. Sometimes the package will literally just like fall into the wrong person's cart or whatever, and you're like, oh, I don't have it, you mark it as missing, whatever, it doesn't seem to really affect your account. And then you can be late with a package, and honestly, it affects your account quite a bit. So one time, I've had many late packages. Sometimes I'm way too exhausted and should not be driving for Amazon, but I want the money, and so I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna power through. But no, I'm so sleepy that I'll go to the warehouse, pick up all the packages, and just go to bed in the car. A good example is when I had like 35 stops one day, I drove to the apartment building at the first stop and just conked out. I woke up like 5 hours later and I was feeling better. I slept for a really long time by accident. I went to deliver all my packages, but every single package was severely late. And these 35 late marks on my account took me from the top of fantastic all the way down into fair. So I basically borderline almost got banned from Amazon Flex for taking a little nappy. Amazon does not like late packages. Generally speaking, maybe you're a little bit behind, you have 3 lates, 2 lates, 1 late package. It'll still ding you a surprising amount. But yeah, the biggest hit seems to be returning a package to the station. Amazon does not like that. So literally, I prefer risking a package getting stolen than returning to the warehouse. I will leave it on a public sidewalk before I return a package to the warehouse, personally. Maybe you want to experiment yourself and see what's best for you, but now there are drivers out there who will occasionally use their high standing to their advantage, and that they purposefully bend the rules a little bit, knowing that they're going to take a hit to their account, but to save themselves time or convenience. One common example is, let's say your shift is based in Durham and you have 36 stops in the same sort of area. However, the algorithm that put your block together added another package that needs to be delivered out to Hillsborough, which can be 30, 40 plus minutes away from certain parts of Durham. I have a screenshot on screen. It's some other random city because I stole this picture from Reddit. Now what people will do is when they get their cart of Amazon packages and they see, oh my, I have one stop that's 40 minutes away from the rest, before they even leave the warehouse, they mark the package as missing. And then they just plop the package in the warehouse. So they're not stealing the package, they're not breaking any laws, but they are breaking the rules of Amazon Flex, being that You're kind of supposed to deliver the packages in your cart. I honestly have not done this. It just feels wrong, I guess. I don't know. There's people that are annoyed that I don't bring the package to the front door and I just drop it at the bottom of the stairs or sometimes at the end of the driveway. I think that's fine, but then on the opposite end, I don't like just not delivering a package. I go anyway because, hey, it's my shift. I agree to do the shift. Because then that person's not gonna get their package on time. It'll be on a future shift, sure. But I think the reason I'm probably annoyed is because if someone leaves a package at my garage, I don't care, I'll just walk to my garage. But when flex drivers do the thing, because I live kind of out a little bit, I'm always getting delayed packages. Where's my package? They probably marked it as missing and plopped it in the warehouse, is why my packages are always late. Number 4, do not always listen to the app. The app will tell you a lot of things, and I don't know why it tells you these things. One example is, if you are late, it will say, this package is late. Call the customer to see if they still want the package. It's kind of embarrassing. I used to listen. I used to actually do this. When I first started, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm late. I have to call the customer. I'm calling the customer. Sometimes they answer and they're like, hello. And I'm like, hi. So I'm your Amazon driver and your package is gonna be 4 minutes late. Would you still like it? And they're like, yeah, I guess. You're 4 minutes away? And I'm like, yes. I just wanted to let you know and see if you still want it. Don't call them. I don't know why it says that. Even if a package is severely late, sometimes a package missed a previous shift or somebody else returned it, and so it ends up in your cart. And this means that it's not late by 4 minutes, but it's late by 4 hours, sometimes a full day. It'll say it's late, just don't worry about it. In those cases, it doesn't even affect you. So just don't call a customer because a package is late. Another example of not listening to the app is delivery notes. Anyone that orders from Amazon can put whatever they want in a little box of like delivery request or whatever. Now, oftentimes the notes are actually useful and it's just like, hello, my house has the blue door, not the red door, that's my neighbor. Because like maybe the last driver got confused. And then they say thank you, and I'm like, oh, that's nice, okay. That's actually quite useful. Other times they will make requests that I'm okay doing. For example, please deliver to the rear door instead of the front door, or deliver to the garage instead of the front door. Honestly, I deliver to the garage a lot if it's closer than the front door. Like if I can just pull up to the garage, I just plop it at the garage usually, and nobody ever reports it as an issue. So that's just another example of me being efficient, not lazy. Efficient is the term I like, where I can like, don't even have to get out of my car. I just plop, picture, leave. Anyway, sometimes people want it delivered to somewhere that is not standard. So back door instead of front door. I'm happy to fulfill that if the back door is closer or equally as close and it looks safe. A lot of people don't ever deliver to the rear door. I don't mind in certain situations. Some people don't like it because you maybe have to go through a gate, which is understandable. Maybe there will be a dog. Maybe it's 3 a.m. and you don't want the homeowner to look outside and there's someone in their backyard. That's kind of weird. You don't want to get shot. Personally, originally, I was doing everything I could to follow these people's directions as closely as possible because I wanted to be the perfect little delivery driver. But today, I just do whatever is most convenient for myself. If the rear door is closer and they want it at the front door, I do the rear door. If the front door is closer but they want it at the garage, I do the front door. If the garage is closer but they want it at the front door, I do the garage. I'm very selfish about it. Why? Because it doesn't seem to make a difference. However, sometimes people will have actual handicap, actual disability. If there's a wheelchair ramp up to their front door, I try to make it convenient. I guess maybe this comes down to morals more than anything of like, do you want to make it easier for the customer or for yourself? And I usually prioritize just getting her done so I can, the way I think of it is the sooner I finish this shift, the more time I have to go pick up some Uber passengers or Door Dashers. If I finish early, I oftentimes just use that extra time I allocated to do Amazon to go make some extra money. So it's like, okay, I can make an extra $15 or I can make people not walk as far to get their package. Depends on the day. Sometimes I'm feeling generous and I don't know. I think the best summary is don't stress too much. Like try to do a good job, but like don't stress. Also, set your own boundaries with what you're comfortable doing. So when it comes to special requests by customers, Amazon actually tells you when you put in a note, the driver may not be able to fulfill your request, but you can put one anyway. And sometimes these requests are very specific. For example, please open my garage, put it in the garage, here's the garage code. Sometimes you'll get there and a person will be like, hi, their door's open, and like, you can bring it in. Very, very odd, very unusual. I've gone into one Amazon customer's home. It was an old lady who delivered groceries. I was delivering Amazon Fresh instead of Amazon packages. I did go in her house. I probably shouldn't have. I probably shouldn't even say that, but also she shouldn't really let people in her house. She was just like a frail old lady. Anyway, set your own boundaries of what you're comfortable with. My personal boundaries is I don't open gates, and also I do not get out of the car if there's a dog. This is actually point number 12, but I'm gonna move it to this one now because it's very relevant. No dog is a friendly dog. Or at least you should assume that every dog wants to kill you. Customers think I'm ridiculous for this and they get actually upset with me. If there is something as small as a chihuahua in someone's yard, I don't get out of my car. It's just my personal rule. I'll get out if there's a cat, I'll get out if there's a chicken, but if there's a dog of any kind, I don't get out of the car. I generally will just drop the package as close as I can to the home. It's also a good time to mention, you can't drop the package anywhere. For example, if you're at the neighbor's house, you can't just drop it at the neighbor's house because there is a delivery radius. There's a little orange circle where your GPS has to be within this circle to deliver the package. However, you can also just call driver support and ask them to move the circle. Sometimes it lets you move the circle, and other times the circle has already been moved because previous drivers had a similar issue. So for example, if there's a very long driveway and the person has a delivery box at the end of their driveway so that you don't have to go down the driveway, much appreciated by the way. The app might not actually let you deliver to the box, but you can call support and be like, hey, I put it in this requested location. They'll be like, okay, and they'll just bypass the pin. So anyway, if I can, and there's a dog, I just drop the package out of my car and then take a picture of it. Otherwise, yeah, if there's a dog, I call the customer and I'm like, hey, there's a dog. And they're like, don't worry, it's friendly. I'm respectful, but I say, sorry, I don't get out if there's a dog. Can you come meet me for the package? People have actually gotten upset over this. Most people are understanding and they're like, okay, I understand. I'm not home. You can leave it wherever. Or they come out and grab the package from me, whatever. I'll just go ahead and do the full dog point now, I guess. Dogs come out of nowhere. They're very quiet. Like ideally a dog would bark and then you know a dog's there, but what I've noticed is a lot of like these guard dogs, it's like they're trained to not bark. And instead they're trained to just attack you. And that's it. Because dogs will be completely silent. They'll try to sneak up, and then once they start sprinting, they start barking. I recommend that you carry some form of defense. A lot of people do bear spray for dogs. Some people do tasers. Some people do firearms. Oh, another personal boundary. I don't like giving people my ID. Sometimes at the fancier apartment buildings, you'll enter the lobby and there's security there, and they only let you go deliver the package if you give them something of yours. So a driver's license, your keys to your car. It's just something so that you're not just a stranger going up there. I used to do it. I was uncomfortable giving some security guard my ID or my key. I just don't like doing that. Maybe that's weird for me to not like it, but either way, I don't. And I just respectfully decline. Security gets kind of annoyed. Like basically I just tell them, I don't care if it's not delivered. I'm not comfortable with that. I'll just leave. I'll just go. And I start leaving, and usually they'll be like, it's whatever, I'll just take the package. You give the package to security, woohoo, you didn't have to give the security guard your personal information. Also, they make you check in a lot, like sign in as a guest. That takes forever, I don't like doing that. Sorry, I don't do that. Would you like me to leave the package here, or would you like me to return it? That's usually what I say. They don't like me saying that, but again, that's one of my personal boundaries. Number 6, I think, number 6, the app is bad. If you ever feel like you're going insane, it's probably not you, it's the app. It's just poorly coded. They seemed to have hired the absolute cheapest third world programmers on the planet because the app is unstable, it crashes a lot, it freezes a lot, the GPS stops working. It's just not a great app. Just be aware of that and try to be patient with it. Take a deep breath as you sit there and the orange loading sign spins for 10 minutes. You gotta, personally, like if the app takes more than like 10 seconds to open, I just have to force quit the app, relaunch it. I don't know why it's so bad. Also, driver support is also bad. These are the fellas you'll speak with a lot. Most of them do not have English as a first language. And like I said, their one rule that they're told probably is don't let these silly billies return packages to the station. I mean, just today I had to call driver support 3 times because it was raining and my warehouse makes you sort packages in the rain. which means that all of the labels get soaked with water and they fell off. So I couldn't read the label and I couldn't scan it. So I was like, hey, can you manually mark this as delivered? They were actually fine today. They can mark packages as delivered on your behalf, but sometimes they'll be like, no, I won't actually. So to deal with driver support, A, just hang up and call back. It's usually honestly faster to get a new support agent who's not as annoying than to argue with the bad support agents. B, I forgot. Oh, be assertive. Just like, they're gonna tell you can't do something, and I'm usually like, yes I can. It works a lot. I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna drop the package in this other location, and they're like, no you're not. And I'm like, yes I am. And then they're like, okay. And I'm like, oh, okay, that worked. Also, you have the option to call support or text support. Personally, I found the fastest thing is to use the text option, but do voice to text. So I just talk into my phone and send the message. If you call driver support, you tap call and then they actually call you. And then you answer the call and it's a polite Indian woman, I don't know. They recently have just not been calling. Like I'll request a call and they just never call. So, oh, and also, yeah, you sit on hold a lot longer in my experience on the call, so I always do text support, I recommend. Yeah, so okay, they're really bad and they don't care about you. They just want to do their thing and go home to their family, I don't know. Oftentimes they cannot solve your issues because they're kind of useless and can't really do anything. So this is kind of crazy, but you can actually just email Jeff Bezos's email address and get issues resolved. So maybe you called driver support because you didn't get paid for a route or something. I haven't done this, but apparently you just email jeff@amazon.com and there's a whole team that goes through his inbox. It used to be his email, now it's just a support email for whatever. It takes a while to get a response, but apparently it actually works. But generally I try to just get driver support to do whatever I need. They don't though, so just be prepared for that. You know who else is not trained and can't really do anything? Is the staff at the warehouses. So a lot of them are nice. A lot of you I like and enjoy yapping with. A lot of others, I don't like you at all actually. You're quite annoying and I don't know why you work there, but it's all very similar. Be efficient, don't spend too much time on an issue and be assertive. So if you're spending more than a few minutes with a warehouse worker because they're not doing what you want, just push them as hard as you can, honestly. And oftentimes you'll be right, or at least I'm right, because I'm always right. I've never made a mistake in my life. Also, don't be late to your shift. If your shift starts at 3:30 a.m., you have a 5-minute late time, so you can scan up until 3:34 and 59 seconds. But once it hits 3:35, you cannot sign in, you cannot work. So nobody can do anything about it. Warehouse staff cannot do anything. Driver support cannot do anything. It's fully automated. If you are late, you just have to go home. That was the saddest drive of shame I've ever done. Was one time I was 1 minute late and I had to just drive all the way back home and make no money. Oh yeah, that also hits your account very badly. So try not to miss shifts, actually. If you're gonna miss a shift, you gotta make sure you forfeit it or cancel it before it happens. And also it sucks if you drive there and then you're late. So personally, I always get there 15 to 20 minutes early. You can check in early. For example, traffic. If you get stuck in traffic and you're gonna be 5 seconds late, just turn around. It's not even worth it. Like there's no reason to even go if you know you're gonna miss it. Also, track your miles. There's honestly very little reason to do Amazon Flex if you do not track your miles. You get a very sweet tax deduction. It varies each year, but it's approximately 60 cents per mile is the deduction. I drive so many miles for Flex that I literally don't pay anything in taxes on my Flex earnings. It sounds like I'm scamming the IRS and I'm going to go to prison for the rest of my life and get many unconsensual boyfriends, but this is not actually the case. It's just because I drive a lot of miles, and so it cancels out all of my Flex earnings. There's apps you can use to track it. Personally, I just do it the old-fashioned way. I have an odometer, I reset it, and then at the end of the shift, I write down how many miles, and then at the end of the year, I add it all up and TurboTax it, whatever, or accountant if you have an accountant. I don't because I can't afford them right now. Anyway, it's also important to understand that earnings are going to be inconsistent. So there is a base rate pay per city. So in my city of the beautiful land of Durham, North Carolina, the base rate is $18 an hour, but also sometimes it pays more than that actually, which is very nice. The majority of the shifts I've done pay more than $18 an hour, and that's called a surge. So when they need more drivers or they have a lot of packages, the payment amount surges. You actually get more money. Very epic. I love extra money. Why did that sound sarcastic? Now the thing about this is I get into the habit of getting so used to this where I'm like, I always expect a surge. Some weeks there's no surges and all you see are these yucky base rate shifts. A lot of people, especially the very vicious and aggressive and seem to just hate life users of reddit.com r/Amazon Flex. I don't know what it is. The Amazon Flex community on Reddit is like insane and they kind of stress me the hell out and I... Okay, my point in mentioning them is a big thing on the Reddit Amazon Flex forum is never take a base rate. But look, sometimes I just need some money and I take a base rate. So if you ever tell anyone on that group that you took a base rate shift, they will come to your house and kill you. Like point blank, shoot you in the head. Because they don't want you to take a base rate. Because they want nobody to take the base rate so that it surges and then they can take the surge. Sometimes I do base rate. I go out for 5 hours and I make $90. That's base rate, that's 18 an hour. Ideally, I'm making 110, 120, 140, 150 for a 5-hour shift. It's rare, but it happens sometimes. Other times, I need 90 bucks so I can pay my credit card. And I go make 90 bucks or $63 for a 3.5 hour shift or $72 for a 4-hour shift. I'm so good at fast math. My personal rule is I don't go out for less than $70, but I will go out and do, well, sometimes I'll go out and do like a 66, 60. Okay, my personal rule is I don't go out for less than $60. For example, actually I just lied to your face because sometimes I do $54 shifts. Anyway, yeah, you just can't expect the money to be super consistent week over week. If you're working a 40-hour-a-week job, I can't think of an example of a job because I'm that disconnected from society, but you have a job, you get 40 hours a week, you make the same amount every week, I guess, unless you do overtime. Amazon Flex is not like this. Just understand that some days you'll do a lot of work and it'll be extremely hard and you'll make very little, but other days it'll be very easy shifts and you make a lot of money. So it evens out in the end, I guess. Also, another thing about customers is they don't realize that they don't get the same driver every day. Like my mailman, it's always the same mailwoman, like for USPS. Amazon, it's different every day, and that's because it's flex drivers. Personally, I've delivered over 6,000 packages, and I only remember delivering to the same house once, ever. I just remember because they had a cool car. Maybe I've delivered to other houses multiple times without realizing, but my impeccable memory tells me that I haven't. I mean, I delivered to like 15 towns and cities in the area. There's a lot of houses. There's like tens of thousands, I guess hundreds of thousands of houses. My point in mentioning this is customers will expect you to be their BFF and know exactly who they are and what they want. For example, they'll leave a delivery note that's like, hey, the last 3 times you ran over my sprinkler, can you, I told you 3 times in a row to stop running over my sprinkler. Can you please stop? And I'm like, I've never been here before. We've literally never met. Does every driver look like me? I don't think so. I'm a very unique and cool looking guy. Nobody is such a 10 out of 10 on the attractive scale as much as I am. So anyway, I don't know how to make this video funny. This is just an informational video. I don't really have any jokes. Anyway, people act like you're the same driver, but no, I'm not the same driver. I've never been here before. That's just a personal rant. This whole video is kind of just a rant. I have to leave soon for another shift because I am broke. Oh yeah, next one. People do not expect you. You're a stranger in a car and it's like 4 a.m. sometimes. So you can choose what times you deliver for Amazon. Like I said, I only do the night shifts. Regardless of when you do it, you're just some random bozo pulling up in a sedan or a truck. And people expect delivery vans, but we don't get those because we're Amazon Flex drivers. Just understand that people see you as a stranger. They don't want to hurt you, but they do want to protect themselves and they get kind of scared. So yes, we have our little vest, our little blue vest with a reflective smile because Amazon delivers smiles every day, but you're gonna make people frown because they don't know who you are. Okay, easiest thing to do, if you see a person, just scream at the top of your lungs, Amazon, Amazon delivery. It's when I see someone, I'm just like, hey, Amazon package, and I show the package, and they're like, oh, okay. They still get kind of confused, and they have a lot of questions like, where's your van? Why are you in a car? Why do you look like you're 12 and a half years old? Yeah, just try to be visible and try not to be anxious. I know it's like telling a depressed person to just be happy, but if you're anxious and on edge, you're gonna make other people anxious and on edge, so try to just be chill. Try to act like you belong there, because you do. You have authorization to be on their properties, and just be ready to shout Amazon. Amazon delivery, hey, it's your Amazon driver. Also, very specific, but when you're on your phone trying to get an Amazon shift, there's no shifts available right now. I have the habit of just refreshing a lot. If you refresh too many times, the app thinks that you're a robot. When it thinks you're a robot, it locks you out of your account for like 1 to 2 days. Basically, it will give you a CAPTCHA, and I'm not a robot CAPTCHA. You fill out the CAPTCHA, guess what? It makes you fill out another CAPTCHA, and then another CAPTCHA. And you get stuck in what I call CAPTCHA jail. I think someone else called it that, actually. I probably stole that. Oh, and also I have multiple phones, and sometimes I'll just use the phone that's more charged, and I'll just log out and log back in. Amazon doesn't like that anymore. They get sketched out if you're switching devices a lot, so try to not switch devices. Don't look like a robot. Do not act like a robot, because even if you're not a robot, you'll get stuck in robot jail. And finally, my last recommendation for delivering for Amazon Flex after I've made like $22,000, 6,000 packages is, do not let Amazon Flex follow you home. You have to, in my opinion, disassociate from whatever happens on your flex shift. You got traumatized by a dog, you got yelled at by a customer, you stepped in a puddle, I don't know. There's not really anything bad that happens. My point is, if something negative happens on your shift, and if you have a stressful time, if you have a bad day, you gotta compartmentalize it and not have it affect your life. That's easier said than done, I guess. Like, personally, I'm used to it now, it's pretty easy, but early on I would get frustrated. I'd have a negative experience with a security guard and we're arguing over me getting into a building, or a customer yells at me because I'm ugly and smelly. It would hurt my feelings, and then I'm home and then I'm sad and I'm like, wow, my feelings are hurt. No Amazon frustration is allowed in the hurt house. Once I'm home, I don't think about it. So it's easier said than done, but just, that's my recommendation, is try to practice not being bothered. Don't overthink it. Your job is simple. Get package to person's door, and then they give you money for it. It's pretty cool. I like Amazon Flex. People complain about it a lot. I think it's pretty great. I'm happy with it. I appreciate the opportunity. I have multiple videos where I say I quit Amazon Flex. Those are all clickbait, and I actually haven't quit. And I'll probably do another clickbait video where I say I quit a 3rd time. However, I do fluctuate a lot with doing the shifts. I mean, you don't get banned for not working. Like, you can just, some months I do 0 shifts. Other months I do 45 shifts. So it's just whatever money I need and what I feel like doing. So if you're thinking about doing Flex, first of all, there's probably a wait list. You should just sign up and like get on the wait list, because it might take a while. Secondly, and it might not even be in your city, so I don't know why you're watching this in that case. But if it is, and if you get on Amazon, just keep in mind to not stress over it. Put your safety first and maximize efficiency. It's cool. You'll figure it out. You don't really gotta worry too much. So I've got another shift in a couple hours. I'm making bank, kind of. I'm just trying to pay off my credit card. So that'll be it. You can check out my other Amazon Flex videos in the description, as well as DoorDash, Uber Eats, regular Uber, Instacart. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.